this kind of just touches on Councilman Kimball's request earlier for the resolution that Representative Baumgardner had mentioned about the extra lane on 85. I did attend one of the Connect Our Future workshops that Centralina did Monday, and the citizens groups there were all broken down into tables and were asked to do some planning about the future. And one of the big issues was whether or not to put the Garden Parkway on the future planning map. And I know this is a very sensitive issue. A lot in our community, especially the chamber, still want the Garden Parkway. But I just wanted to share with you, Councilman Kimball, since you brought this up, that none of the citizens groups during the workshop that I attended on Monday morning put the Garden Parkway on any of the transportation plans. And I just thought that that was some information that I would share with you.
Mr. Kimball.
We obviously did not go to the same one. I went to the afternoon session, 1:30 to 3:30, I believe, and it was broken down into two tables. And what was interesting there, both groups identified Interstate 85 as needing attention and needing additional laneage. One of our groups, one of the two, did identify the Garden Parkway specifically. The other one the other group was specific in not necessarily the Parkway, but some other route from Mecklenburg on through into Gaston County. But it wasn't identified, it was more or less another bridge crossing, is what they said, but it wasn't identified as the Parkway. So that was the
kind of a compromise.
That was
position.
the 1:30 to 3:30 session. So I was actually going to go over that in my report, but that was another point of scope at that meeting. Thank you.
And then, Mr. Mayor, another item, this is an item of information. The city's paralegal and our right-of-way coordinator saw the agenda item about Wells Fargo donating the two properties to the city. And I just wanted to share with you, they came to me and they said, with the right-of-way acquisition for Myrtle School Road, a lot of times you have to acquire from the property owner, and if he has a mortgage, you have to acquire from his bank. And we have a really good relationship with all of the mortgage holders except for Wells Fargo. We've had a very difficult time with Wells Fargo, and they
watch that.
And they wanted to know if there was any way, as part of accepting these two houses from Wells Fargo, if we could get them to cooperate. And of course, the two branches are, the people we're dealing with are out in the Midwest, and the people who are donating the two houses that are eventually going to go to Preservation North Carolina are a completely different branch of Wells Fargo. But I have some information on the series of events that's happened as we've tried to acquire those easements for the Myrtle School Road widening, and I will pass that on to you and perhaps some other appropriate individuals at Wells Fargo to see if we can get some more cooperation on that end. And then finally, I won't be here at the next meeting in October. Ms. McGee will be with you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, sir. Mr. Munn, City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just two birthdays. One today is the birthday of our Constitution, 226 years alive and well. Tomorrow is the birthday of my granddaughter Emma, who is a resident of Gastonia. We'll wish her happy birthday. Great. And that's all I have.
And how old will she be?
12.
12.
How about that?
I think also someone had a birthday on Sunday.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We're not counting those anymore.
I believe that.
City Council report, Ms. Craig.
No report.
No report. Mr. Pearsall.
No report.
Gallagher.
Yes, two. Three things. One, Jan Dean's Family Services. That was an excellent time. The black dress and the guy in the tie. I like that. That's really good. It was a good time at the Gastonia Conference Center. Really, it was fun. The other thing was I went to Homegrown for the women's shelter at the farmer's market. That was really good. That was good food. Saw Ed there. He was chowing down, so it was really nice. It was worthwhile. The other thing is I went to the opening for the 100th house for the Habitat for Humanity. And yes, our police force and our fire department, along with the sheriff, the county sheriff, men are all pitching in to work on this. Now, I was there Sunday when they dedicated this thing. All they had down was a slab. Well, I drove by before I came here at 5:30. They had this building up, and they had already on one side of it done roofing. I mean, all the trusses were up and everything. I mean, these guys, you do not let not much grass grows under your feet there, fellows. Your teams are doing a wonderful job. They were still working when I was there, and they said they work until about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm impressed. Chief Connolly said that they would be done, and Chief Welsh said, Jim, you come by in 2 weeks, this place will be finished. I was surprised coming by in 2 days. So if you get a chance to go down Prior Street, by all means, go down there, look to your left, see what a wonderful job they are. And if you have time, you want to pitch in, Habitat for Humanity would welcome your volunteer service on any house that they have coming up. And that is my report. Thank you.
Dr. Curley?
Just a couple things. Three people I want to acknowledge tonight. The first one is James Currents, who will be retiring this week, as you know, and I just want to publicly thank James for his many, many years of service to the city. He's been an excellent employee. You haven't always seen him, but you've seen the results of his labors. The trash has been picked up. He has been a steward of our resources in his department, and we wish him well and good health and hope that his future is bright and long and that he enjoys his retirement. The second one is Jack Kaiser, and he also retires this week after, again, more than 30 years with the city. And we all know how well Jack has contributed to the development and growth of this city in many ways and has received accolades at various levels of his profession. And so we also wish him well and hope that he enjoys his retirement, and maybe we hope to see him back in some other capacity with the city at some time in the near future. And the third one is kind of special because that's my daughter, Hannah, who had her birthday yesterday, and she spent part of her day yesterday with Mr. Kimball and other folks at this, what was the actual?
Connect.
It was the Connect Gas, Connect Consortium.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and so Hannah was vocalizing the needs of the youth of Gastonia on her 28th birthday. So, and I wish her a happy birthday. And that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dave, she did not vocalize that it was her birthday.
I'm sure she did.
That was it was interesting, in taking part in Ash. You, I guess, were at a different one than I was, but it was interesting when people from all over the county. But yet, when you went to put pen to paper, how many of the viewpoints were fairly the same, and many of the things that everybody found to be important ended up on the page in a lot of the same ways. Secondly, I was able to take part in the 9/11 ceremony in both in Stanley and the one in our city. And Chief, thank you. Both chiefs, thank you. And again, a wonderful retirement to Jack Kaiser, and he was actually there yesterday as well. Thank you. That's all I have, sir.
All right. Last night we had the first meeting of the new group of the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, and looks like there's going to be a good future there, a good year for those young people. As Councilman Gallagher said, I was going to bring up also the groundbreaking for Habitat Sunday, where my head was burnt. I think that we're still not really sure, though, how Chief, if those guys, if they're on our time or on their time. But we don't really care. And the sheriff said he would take care of that. So, as I was just, as my son said one time, as I was perusing through my J. Crew, I was perusing through the Community Foundation of Gaston County. Here's a 2012 report. And I said, oh, Gaston County, born and bred, Brenda Craig. Look there. Who is that holding that fish?
That's me.
Well, I can hardly see because the fish is so big. So, and this is a wonderful article. I just read it from every little. I know you remember these beach pictures and these old. I can remember those better than I can remember yesterday. But this is a wonderful looking family, and that's two dear people that were your parents.
And I hope that it is perceived as a tribute to my parents.
Well.
Because I would not be who I am without my mother and father's influence.
Right. Well, let it be known that you ain't going to the prom if you don't buy your dress in Gastonia. And then, of course, you stop and you think about Jan and this one over here in a black dress. That's scary, too. But you're pretty in a black dress. But this is an excellent article, y'all, anyone that would like to see it. Lastly, who saw Ichabod last night? Did anybody see Ichabod? Anybody see Ichabod last night? I did. Well, it primarily was our front door. It said Sheriff's Department. But boy, was it First Baptist. I mean, it was a straight shot. And it did show across the street over there, too, where you looked at. Jan. They had the green canopies and all. But and that's about it. It's a I didn't realize that it's a ongoing, whatever you call it. And so there's got to be more of Gastonia in there. Anything else at all that we have missed? If not, it's 8:30, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And is there a motion to adjourn? Second. Okay, aye.